Alexander Isak. We need to talk about Alexander Isak. World class. 2 words. World class. This guy is absolutely insane. And before anyone says it's only Southampton, because I know rival fans are going to want to, rival fans have just got this way of attacking teams, and Newcastle right now are flying. One defeat, which was a bit of a blip against Bournemouth, who, by the way, beat Forest 5-0 today. Newcastle do what all good teams do, and they bounce back. And they even went a goal behind. Let me just read to you Newcastle's last 11 games. They've beaten Leicester, Brentford, Ipswich, Villa, United, Spurs, Arsenal, Wolves, Southampton, Bromley. Absolutely insane. And they even went a goal behind, but it doesn't really bother them. They understand the job at hand. They understand the instructions from the manager. And when you've got players like Tonali, who can just pop up in the box, when you've got players like Isak right now, who's got 18 goals this season or 17 goals this season, and when you've got Gordon, who is in really, really good form, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because you are going to get chances. And when you get those chances in the form that Alexander Isak is in, it doesn't matter. Make sure you go down and drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Make sure you have hit that subscribe button, where about 90% of you who watch the match reactions are not subscribed. So go down and hit that subscribe button. We're about, I think, 600-700 away from 42,000, something like that. So please join the community. In terms of Newcastle today, their team, it essentially picks itself. They've got, for me, I've said this the other day, and just because of that Bournemouth defeat, it doesn't really change my opinion. The most well-balanced and best performing midfield this season, Joelinton, Tonali, and Bruno Guimaraes. And since Eddie Howe has brought Tonali into that 6 role, it's just kind of strengthened them tenfold. Gordon, Isak, Murphy, and I was actually really critical on Murphy a couple of weeks ago, but today he got a really good assist. Gordon, does what Gordon does, beats players for days, got that pace to get in behind. Hall, Byrne, Shah, Livramento, and Martin Dubravka. And Newcastle actually went a goal down really early. Bednarak. And I thought, looking at the match stats, Southampton have got a manager who likes possession-based football, but Newcastle, once they go 1 or 2 goals up, they're just happy to defend. When they beat Spurs a couple of weeks ago, they scored both their goals, and they were like, right, just come at us. We're happy to defend. We trust our centre-backs, whether it's Shah, Botman, or Byrne. They're just happy to defend. But Bednarak made it 1-0 in, 9th, 10th minute. I didn't watch the entire game because I had Liverpool on that screen, Newcastle, and Arsenal. So if I do miss anything out, I do apologise. Let me know in the chat, because I know you guys in the comments love to remind me if I've missed something. But they go 1-0 up. And it was they went in front, and it was their first chance of the game, Southampton. And I thought, we're going to see what Newcastle are made of here, because Southampton are a very, very poor side. But losing at home in the manner that Newcastle did, would it have taken their confidence down a little bit? Potentially. But like I said, like all the good teams, they bounce back. First chance of the game, lovely cross from Bree, who picks out Bednarak, and it's a good header. Dubravka, I don't really think he could have done anything, to be honest, about that. And then, I don't know what Southampton are doing for that penalty. I don't know why it took so long. The referees and the officials had a good long look at it. But then Alexander Isak steps up and bags his 16th Premier League goal of the season. He's got absolutely no chance, McCarthy, and it's in the back of the net. And then as soon as they got that goal, I thought, right, Newcastle will put it into first gear now and just go and start playing. And then the second goal, the run from Murphy, the pass into Isak, and it's so Thierry Henry-esque, opens his body up with the right foot and just guides it past guides it past McCarthy, and it's such a cool and calm finish. Really, really well deserved finish that from Newcastle. And when it was 2-1, I was like, right, you know, Newcastle, of course, had much higher XG. They will do because of the penalty. And you go into the second half, and I've said this so many times that the first 15 minutes of the first and the second half are so, so important. And, you know, you've got that team talk from Howe ringing in your ears. You go out there and you get a goal, and it's Sandro Tonali. I think that was his first goal of the season. Gordon plays it in. He's all alone, beats McCarthy, and makes it 3-1. And that was it, really. I know Newcastle did concede another one, but it was ruled out by VAR. And I love the fact that Howe was giving Miley some minutes at the end. Took off Bruno Guimaraes, brought on Miley, who looks a player, by the way. Brought on Willock for Isak, making sure that he is resting when he cans. And, that is a long old journey, by the way. Newcastle all the way down to Southampton. And that's one loss in their last 5 games. They are in really, really good form. For me, of those 4 teams, of the City, Bournemouth, Chelsea, and Newcastle, don't rule out Forest. I do think the top 4 is going to be Newcastle, Arsenal, Liverpool, and one of Chelsea or City. I do think Forest will start to slip up, and everyone's giving Nottingham Forest, sorry, I'm just trying to put a sock back on. Everyone's giving Nottingham Forest huge, huge credit, and I think we should start to give Newcastle just the same amount. There's only 3 points now separating the two. Newcastle have scored more goals. They've both conceded the same amount. Newcastle's goal difference is better. I do think they'll win their next game as well. I think they've got Fulham at St. James's. I think they will bounce back. And they've actually got 2 games in a row now at St. James's. In the next 6 games, I don't really think you can get a much harder run. Nottingham Forest, Liverpool, City, and Arsenal, all in their next 6 games. I think they'll comfortably breeze past Birmingham in the FA Cup. I think they will beat Fulham, but it will be a close game. I think they've got enough to breeze past Arsenal, but they already did that at the Emirates, and they're going with a 2-goal aggregate lead. Manchester City, whenever they play City, it's a really good game. You think of that game last year, was it at St. James's? Oscar Bob winning it at the death. Then they drew 1-1 at St. James's this season. It's going back to the Etihad. I think it's going to be a really, really interesting game. And I'd love to know your thoughts down below on it in general. Do you think, as it stands right now, that Newcastle have got what it takes to get into the top 4? Because I look at them right now and think, with these fixtures they've got coming up, I just don't know how. When you've got that firepower, when you've got an Isak, when you've got a Tonali in midfield, when you've got a Jonathon, when you've got someone that can control, like a Bruno Guimaraes, it just puts them in a really, really good position. If they beat Fulham and they go and beat Forest, Anfield, listen, Anfield is I don't expect Liverpool to Newcastle to beat Liverpool there. They may get a draw. Other teams have gone there and got draws, like Forest have won there. Fulham have got a draw there. Man United have got a draw there. But I just think Liverpool will have something for under the lights at Anfield as well. But when you look at Newcastle this season, they are proving a lot of people wrong. They're proving me wrong, and I just think right now they've got such a perfect balance. They've got defensive options. The only thing you could maybe criticize them on today is the fact that they did not get a clean sheet, but it's 3 points, and that is all that matters from a Newcastle perspective. Tonali is so good, by the way. So good. Isak, man of the match, closely followed by, for me, Tonali, Gordon and Murphy, both really good, but he's unreal. Absolutely unreal. Let me know your thoughts down below. It's going to be very interesting next month as well when they play Arsenal in the Cup. I would be very, very interested to see how people think they will get on in that game, because they're going into it with a lead. Can they protect that lead? Will they go for the jugular? Who knows? Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you have subscribed. I'm out.